Warning. The following program contains adult language, adult themes, and spoilers. Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome to this week's episode of This Week's Episode. I'm your host, Angie Fernot. With me, as always, is oblivious, bookish angel, Kris Randazzo.
How much trouble can I get into for asking a few questions?
Delinquent, devilish demon, Karen Randazzo.
Get a big cup, put 6 shots of espresso in it, and nothing else.
And amnesiac, nude box wielder, Evan Goldstein.
I feel like your exactly and my exactly are different exactlies.
This is episode number 271 for the month of December, the year of our overlords, 2023. This month was my pick. I chose Good Omens Season 2, Episode 1, and the title was The Arrival. But before that, let's get into our weekly reminder that you can get in touch with us at mail@geekade.com. So hit us up. Let us know what you want us to watch. Let us know what you don't want us to watch. I'm looking for a specific recommendation. I'm going to make a real ask to see who's listening to this. I want someone to suggest something at least 20 years old, which I feel should be older than it is, but that makes me realize how old I am.
That's good.
So I want something like
right there.
I want something like pre the year 2000.
So you want something 25 years old?
Yeah, I guess so. Let's go closer to that. Somebody recommend something pre the year 2000. In fact, the older the better. So yeah, that's my request. So here we go. Testing. Let's find out if any listeners out there actually give a shit. All right. So anyway, pretty please reach out. But aside from that, y'all, how are you? What have you been watching? How are you doing? How have your holidays been? I know that we've been delayed a few times because the universe is trying to kill us.
Yes, nonstop sickness has been ravaging our household, which is it's just been a hoot and a holler.
I've been sick for about a month. That's why my voice sounds like this.
Sick, but not in the good way.
I feel awesome. It's amazing.
I think Evan is the only person of all of us who has not been at death's door this month.
It's because I destroyed myself at an early age, so I've built up an immunity.
That's it. That's what we were missing, folks. So, yeah, I think first I had to cancel because I was so sick I could barely see straight, and then Karen had to cancel, I think, and now here we are, right? Is that right?
Yeah.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. And,
I mean, you were bad for like two-ish weeks, and you're still not 100%, but you're better. But
I'm a lot better now. Yeah. So for me, for like 10 days I was sick, but it was like really sick, and then, it was technically like 2 weeks overall. But it was like first few days I was like, I don't feel great. This kind of sucks, but like, I'll work half days and kind of power through it. And I did that for 2 days, and by day 3, I was like, nope, taking the day off of work. And unfortunately, I didn't have the wherewithal to be like, I should just rest all of those days, because Wednesday evening our family came into town, and the next day it was Thanksgiving. So it was amazing. We hosted our first Thanksgiving in our house. But, well, technically we just hosted our first Thanksgiving, period. Since we've been together. Yes. Which was really cool. But it was also our first Thanksgiving in our first house, so lots of firsts. It was my in-laws, like his brother and sister-in-law, and then our nephew. It was their first time being down as a family. And it was the first time Steph and the baby had seen the house, so that was cool. made chocolate chip cookies with the nephew for the first time. So
He made some banging cookies.
He did.
with
He stuck M&Ms in
the
them, y'all.
well-placed M&Ms, like strategically placed
He
M&Ms.
was so cute about it too.
He's at that age where he's overtly cute. Like, he came in confidently when he saw the house and he saw all the artwork and all the stuff, and he's like, I'm an artist too. Like,
Yeah,
yes, you
he's
are,
so
buddy.
cute.
Aw.
I have the most adorable picture of him at my desk in my studio, like working with these like watercolor brushes that they're like watercolor markers that I have. And he's like sitting there drawing at my desk using like my personal art supplies. And I was like, I love this child.
I walked in there at one point, and he was doing, I thought it was going to end up being the stereotypical hand turkey, but he was painting, and I'm like, oh, buddy, let me pull up your sleeve, because he was wearing the whitest of shirts. And I'm like, this is not, and watercolor marker, not a good plan, but hey, you're a kid. Have a blast.
Just so freaking cute.
Adorable. How was your guys' holidays?
It was nice. We went up to my sister's. She cooked. So that meant that I didn't have to, and I can't remember the last time that happened.
That's awesome.
So the kids had a blast. There was still some, sickness abounding. But it was nice.
Good.
Good.
Yeah, it was a good time. The food was, I thought the food was delicious. Karen's a little bit of a stuffing snob.
No boxed stuff for you? Is that what you're saying?
I really like trash stuffing.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's like kind of what she made. She made like the bag stuff, which is like, yeah, pile that shit on.
Yeah.
I was thrilled. And, gravy from a packet, like, sign me up.
You went fancy. You got the packet, not out of the jar.
Yeah, it was fucking delightful. And so I was really happy with the food. And it was a good time until I had like just a debilitating allergy attack.
Oh, no.
From being around their pets, their dogs. And like it was terrible. I couldn't breathe. I was sitting outside and eventually took Benadryl to get a little bit of sleep. Which is especially funny because then I decided to get a second dog. Which has fortunately not had anywhere near that kind of effect. I had a little bit of a allergy situation going on, I think, because like I'm still fighting off this ridiculous sickness. So it's like I can't tell. Is this allergies or is this just my cough? Who the hell knows? But
it's yours now.
No, it's
your cough now.
It's mine now. This is
forever.
And this happened to me last year too. I remember last year around this same time, I had a cough on all the podcasts for weeks and weeks, and then eventually it subsided. So who knows? This is just the way my life is now. But yeah, it's been it was a good little Thanksgiving break, and then we've just been home and dog and sickness and good times have been had by all.
Awesome.
I have to say, on the note of gravy, we made our first turkey. It was the first time I've ever made a turkey, like mostly solo. Like I made the turkey, and it was so funny because Brian was there, my brother-in-law, and he's like, okay, so he brined the turkey for me, which was great because I was not going to do that. I just don't have that level of proficiency or confidence.
Hold on. Before you skip past that spot,
Yeah.
I was helping him unload the car, and he brought said turkey, and it was in a cooler, like a nice big Yeti-style cooler. And then I pull out the rest of the stuff, and he pulls out a brand new Home Depot orange bucket. And I'm like, what is that for? And he goes, oh, that's for the turkey. And I'm like, what are you doing to the turkey that you need a bucket? I was like, oh, I'm going to submerge it in sugar and water. I went, oh, okay, yeah, I have absolutely no problems with that whatsoever. Anything coated in sugar water is tops on my list.
It's sugar, salt, and water.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm going to paint it.
Borderline, I thought that might be happening. I was very confused. It was absolutely wild. But it was like, honestly, it was great. And then to make things even better, like when we did the prep on the turkey, like we took the skin and then you stick all the butter underneath. And it was so weird because the first time my best friend made a turkey, we were roommates, like, God, this was probably 15 plus years ago now. And she's doing this for the first time. And I remembered, like, holy crap, like, this started with me helping somebody. And now she's like this amazing cook. And she, like, competitively makes turkeys against our other friend. Like, they do like a turkey cook-off every year. It's so stupid.
Friendsgiving's Miss isn't an amazing event.
It is, honestly, it's like the best bullshit ever. And so I just had like this really like full circle, like wholesome moment. And then the turkey came out great, but the gravy, Evan bought this jar of gravy and I was like so skeptical, but then I took a bunch of the juice from the bottom of the pan where the turkey was cooking and I mixed it into the gravy. Holy shit. Like, I tried it when it came out of the jar.
I had it with pancakes the next morning. It was delicious.
It was like legitimately, like, not to toot my own horn, but I'm gonna. It was the best gravy I've ever had. Like, I was so proud of that. I was literally like, oh, well, it's because I started with a decent jar of gravy and then I just added the fat. And I was like, it's seasoned fat. This is amazing.
Everything. I was so proud of you and everything that, like, there was not a misstep in the meal. Like, you know, every once in a while, like as you're cooking a large meal, something goes sideways. And it's, you know, the vegetables went bad or, you know, whatever. You had so many moving parts and everything came together so well. Like, we invited our friend Lloyd and his mother to spend Thanksgiving with us. And unfortunately, his mom couldn't make it. But she had claimed making the macaroni and cheese, homemade ice cream, and he brought a pecan pie. Now, the mac and cheese, homemade mac and cheese was delicious, but my wife had no idea what to do because it was just a thing of noodles and a bag of different cheeses. Now, we just assumed that we melted all together, but no directions. Just flopped it.
Well, and this is what killed me. Was his mom gave him directions, and I called her, but you know she wasn't feeling well, so she didn't pick up when I called because she was probably resting. And so I'm like freaking out over here because I'm like, well, shit, like I gotta figure this out. And I'm like, I've made cheese sauce before, like it can't be that difficult. So I just ended up doing my own thing, and it wasn't bad, but like. Apparently when he got home, his mom was like reverse engineering it because she's a really good cook and this is her recipe. And I did like everything the opposite of what she would have done. And she was very gracious about it. She told me it was fine, but I was like, ew. I'm like, he literally had one job. Just tell me what to do and I'd make it for him. I was like, God, really, Lloyd? Like, what the actual fuck? So that was like my one pet peeve about the day because everything about the day was great. But that, I was like, you. Ugh. It
was, honey, it was amazing. Everything came out really well.
I was really happy. We just are finishing some of those leftovers.
No, well, yes. We made it through most of the leftover sides.
Yeah. So.
Lloyd also brought like 5 steaks for some reason.
Oh, they're so good, though. I ate a lot of steak recently.
Who wants steak? We have turkey, but I brought steak. Why are you bringing another dinner to this dinner?
Nobody was mad. Nobody was mad about it but Evan. Like, everybody else is like, yeah, steak and turkey? Let's go.
Well, I'm very proud of you because I know how hard that is. I've been doing it for many years, and I've had my missteps along the way. I am a stuffing snob. I was brought up that we dry the bread out overnight and, you know, crack it into pieces, and it's a whole thing.
Oh, my.
And I do also make my gravy from scratch. But everything my sister made was delightful. And I have to admit that I was the one who fucked up because I made a pecan pie. I make a chocolate chunk pecan pie.
Ooh.
Because I was sick, I missed a step in the directions where I was supposed to turn down the heat in the oven. And so I brought like this fucking brick to my sister's house. It tasted good, but it was a brick.
It was a delicious brick. And let me say, for the record, as much as I love trash stuffing, like, her stuffing is next level. Like,
well, I do put bacon in it.
Yeah, it's like
that's
apple
cheating.
Bacon stuffing. It's freaking ridiculous. And her gravy is also very, very good. It's just outstanding stuff. I really, you're talking about steak. and turkey. Like, yeah, okay, I would put that on. See, I made the rolls. I made the rolls from scratch. And so I made a whole mess of rolls and brought them up, and I made a bonus loaf of challah bread to bring with too, because I was already baking.
He's crazy.
So what the hell?
It's bread.
I'll throw together an extra
I know,
loaf.
but he was so busy because it was Black Friday week for work, and so he was like, had a million things to do, and then he's like 9 o'clock at night starting this bread, and he's like, should I make a challah loaf too? I'm like, what are you talking about?
The answer is always yes, Karen.
Yes.
Yeah, she was so happy to see an extra loaf of challah bread. I don't even know what she did with it. Yeah.
Challah bread makes you holla.
Now, I remember the first time I cooked a turkey for myself.
Oh, God.
It came out.
So does
it
Karen.
came out great. Or
No, it did not.
The part that we ate came out great, and then when I was putting it away, I started picking at it, and I realized that the top part came out great, the bottom part was not cooked properly, and I got food poisoning.
Awesome sauce.
Yeah, it was great. I was
And I nursed him through it, and that was like one of those relationship solidifying moments.
yeah, she was
It'll
great.
make or break you.
It was that, and the new Zelda game had come out. So I was playing Twilight Princess. I was like, well, I literally can't do anything else, so I'll just lay here, and between bouts of running back and forth to the bathroom, I'll just play some Zelda. It'll be great. So I have fond memories of that food poisoning.
Imagine if you had your Switch, you would not have had to leave the bathroom.
Imagine if you just didn't have food poisoning.
It's years and years ago. Good times. That was back in the launch of the Wii.
Good stuff.
Well, I'm glad that everybody survived Thanksgiving. You know, I'm sure we'll have things to share for Christmas.
Well, before we skip away from holidays, did either of you watch the parade for Thanksgiving? It's okay to say no.
We didn't. We don't have cable, so
Okay.
Kris found a stream on YouTube that was just literally somebody on the side of the parade route streaming as they were going by.
Oh, that's
so we
cool.
watched some of that.
Because like nowhere was showing the thing except what Peacock was the only place that we could get it, since we don't have basic cable, and we didn't have Peacock either. So it's just, I'm not paying for Peacock just to watch half of the parade. Cause
I have a friend who paid for the month just for that day so she could see the parade.
So
Dang.
apparently, I guess my sister-in-law has Peacock, and she was able to stream it from her phone to our television, and we had it on in the background, I'm going to say about 45 minutes, and every time I looked at it, it was a balloon that I did not recognize or a marching band. And I remembered the parade being more of an event, and it was just and it wasn't like good, movie worthy marching bands. It was just a bunch of high school kids. I remember this being more of an event, so I don't really think we missed much this year.
When we did see some marching bands in what we were watching, some of them had cheerleaders, and I pointed them out to my daughter because she started cheering this year. Mm-hmm. And she got very offended that her team was not invited to march in the parade as a 7 and 8-year-old rec league team.
Yeah, that's the only appropriate
with no
response.
marching band whatsoever.
Perfect. I love it.
I
She's
mean,
got the right idea.
That's the way to do it.
That's insane. Oh my gosh. So good. So good. Such goodness.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I concur.
All right. So anyway, I guess we should talk about some television.
Sure.
That is what we are here for. But I'm glad you guys are alive, and I'm excited that hosting Thanksgiving. Cool. So Evan, why don't you share what you've been watching?
We've been watching a couple of different things, but specifically, I want to touch on Monarch: The Legacy of Monsters.
The Monarch,
and I appreciate
You knew he
you
was
doing
gonna
that
do it.
because not everybody gets that joke because I kept saying it that way, and no, it was falling on deaf ears. So I just fell into just watch Monarch.
I'm here for you.
So, like I said, this is actually before Thanksgiving. My buddy Lloyd came to the house, and let's just say it was a very long day, and we started to watch the first episode late at night, and there was some inebriation going on. So I need you to understand how not in the right mindset either one of us was, but the opening of the first episode was so engrossing that we could not turn away. And I can't tell if it was because of the monsters that were on screen or the poorly done CGIing of John Goodman. So the way this show opens up, it's John Goodman talking to camera, apologizing for somebody. It's like set in like the 50s, and he's in the jungle, and he's wearing, you know, jungle attire, and he apologizes, and then monster noise, and then camera turns to like first person view, like we're watching him run through the jungle. Every once in a while, getting a side view. Now, I don't know if you've seen John Goodman recently, but he is in no shape to be running full tilt through a jungle at all. He makes it out of the jungle, and then we figure out that he's being chased by the biggest daddy long leg I've ever seen. It was the size of a building. And he makes it to the end of this runway, if you will. It's like a cliff edge, and he throws something into the water. He turns to like sort of square off with this Godzilla-sized daddy long leg, and then out of the ground pops up a crab, like a regular, in essence, you know, like blue crab that you would see at the beaches of the Jersey Shore, because it was sort of like hidden in the ground. But this is the size of a tanker. Like, these are giant Godzilla-sized monsters, and they're now fighting each other. And John Goodman is doing this like shuffle back and forth, avoiding crab claws and spider legs. And I'm like, this is either going to be the best television show ever or the worst thing put on film. And I had to shut it off because I wanted to be fully invested in this time. The next day, I turned it back on, watched the first 2 episodes back to back. It's great, especially if you like the Godzilla, like the new Godzilla universe. It's giving like a grounded backstory to this world, and the special effects are great. For other than the poorly CGI'd John Goodman, like, you know, there's only so much you could do. But it's an explanation of what's going on off camera during the Godzilla and the King Kong movies, because it's that universe. And it's explaining how we got to the first Godzilla movie, in essence, because that takes place like modern day in, I think it was San Diego, or yes, I think it was San Diego. But it's all about the people that are doing the science investigations, like for the 50s on, and what their children have been going through now. And because Godzilla's, it's a oddly grounded giant kaiju movie or television show, and I'm 100% on board. It is so entertaining and so much fun. So highly recommend. And you get to see, you know, Kurt Russell being a badass.
Yeah, are any
Sounds
of you
like
guys...
something that your dad would like, honey.
Indeed, yeah. I should probably throw that in his direction. Right, this is the show that has what's his name? A
Yes.
U.S. agent playing
Yes.
playing young Kurt Russell. Right?
Yes. He
That's kind
plays
of exciting.
1950s Kurt Russell, and there was a couple of other actors that you'll recognize, but like nobody, like Kurt Russell is the biggest. Well, I mean, Wyatt Russell. Are they related? Wait a minute. Is Wyatt Russell Kurt Russell's son? Because that would just blow my... Wyatt Russell is U.S. agent.
Are you just figuring this out now?
I did not know it. I just read his name. I didn't... He was U.S. agent the entire time to me. Or was it Wish Captain America? I did not know they were related. Look at that.
He is Kurt Russell's kid playing young Kurt Russell. That was like a whole thing.
All right. I was not aware of that, because when I look at them, I don't see that much of a resemblance.
I'm just going to tell you, it's really funny listening to you figure this out in real time.
Hey, see what it's about? I was so unimpressed with his acting as U.S. agent that I did not play him much mind.
I just love that you call him Wish Captain America, because that's honestly like, that to
That
me.
meme keeps popping up every once in a while. Now it's like New Jersey Bagels is Chris Evans Captain America, and all other 49 state bagels is him. Whenever, U.S. agent.
That's so mean.
It is.
That's so mean.
But he's doing a good job in this show.
He is not America's ass, you know?
He is absolutely not. But
Well, he's America's ass, all right, but
Different kind.
different
yeah,
connotation.
no, he actually seems like a pretty cool dude, and I think he's great as that U.S. agent character. I think he's awesome. Can't wait to see Thunderbolts.
Oh
But
yeah,
I'm gonna have to because it's not coming out tomorrow.
no, you have to wait.
Stupid time.
I'm just stupid.
What is time other than stupid? All right, moving on. Cool. Kris or Karen, you want to go next?
Sure. My beloved Doctor Who is back. You guys.
Is it still beloved?
Oh my
though?
God.
Yes.
It's still beloved, yes.
Good. I
Oh
was
my God.
so worried.
It's been so long. It's been so long, and then it kind of snuck up on me.
Yeah, you didn't
So-
give us warning, Karen. I found out from nefarious means that it had happened, and I was a little upset.
Well, my Facebook feed has been full of Doctor Who, just like Uvians freaking out. So they aired 2 of the 3 specials. First one after the Saturday after Thanksgiving, and then last weekend. And then the next one next week is going to be the last special with Tennant, and then on Christmas they're going to have the regeneration episode and bring in the new Doctor.
And they're going to do that. Well, I'm assuming they're going to bring in the new Doctor probably at the end of that, and then the new Doctor starts 2027.
They're sometime next year.
Okay.
They're shooting now. They're in production now. I don't know, but
Okay.
it's not going to be as long a wait, I think. So yeah, Tennant is back. They have yet to explain why he's still Tennant. They did a good job kind of getting around the, Donna can never remember him or she'll die. They did a good job handling that.
I would certainly hope so, because that was like a
Yeah.
big
Yeah, the first
plot
4
hole.
minutes, Donna dies. That's how they got around it.
Well, they put her in a position where she was willing to sacrifice because in the 15 years that she has been, apart from the Doctor, she got married, she had a kid, and so she's got this whole life. And then when the Doctor came back and she was had to remember this stuff, it was the only way to save her family.
Okay.
So she was willing to die, but then there was some timey-wimey stuff that happened.
Cosmic loophole.
Yes. So Russell T. Davies is back as the showrunner.
Mhm.
And it is very fun,
Good.
Okay.
which is not something I could say about the Chibnall era. It is very fun. There's lots of great characters. There's a couple different races of aliens in the first one, that were all surprising, unexpected, fun. Probably my favorite part was that Donna's daughter is named Rose. Played by Yasmin Finney, who's a trans actress, and the character is trans, and they did some really good dealing with trans representation and issues facing trans people. And let me just say, R.I.P. to all the quote unquote fans who are gonna, who have since been mad about it. The Doctor Who is so woke now, like it's not been woke this whole time.
I forgot to tell you.
Yeah.
I was talking about this with Dan on Stone Age Gamer last week. I had no idea that the actor or the character was trans. Completely went over my head.
Oh, you did?
I just completely, apparently earlier in the episode, like they were teasing them, calling them a boy's name. Right over my head.
Yeah.
Completely missed the whole thing. Dan was explaining to me. I was like, I don't know that I picked that up. Just like, no, that person is trans. Like, oh, yeah, completely went over my head. What dope.
and her being trans actually factored into the plot, which in just a really beautiful way. So it was nice to see Doctor Who like kind of keeping with the times. And I mean, not that they ever haven't, but you know, I guess LGBTQ plus stuff is not something that they've like heavily dealt with in the past before, and this was very central to the episode. So that was really great to see.
It sounds like it's one of those things where maybe they've always, you know, been with the times, but they're continuing that trend, which is a nice thing to see. So
right,
well, they've been with the times, just not. They weren't overt about it.
Not so overt about it, right?
Like they, I mean, because it's unfortunate that. Well, no, it's fortunate that they didn't have to do that, but they did it because it was, you know, good television. It made for good storytelling. And now with the way things are, you know, you have to say, hey, look, this is not just your run of the mill television show. This is something that has been and will always be, you know, the Doctor, like kind of thing. So it's good that they did it properly.
I haven't seen it, but I get the feeling that it would be like a lot of. I think, you know, we've talked about box checking here. I don't feel like their inclusion immediately makes me go, oh, they were probably just checking a box.
No, it didn't feel like that at all. They also had some decent disability rep in the episode as well. They had a character who was in a wheelchair, and at the same time they like completely didn't make a big deal out of it. Like she was just there. She was in charge of all these unit guys. And then they threw in this bit where they were going to check out some alien thing, and it was at the top of this tower, and there were only stairs. And they were like, sorry, the alien landing site isn't handicap accessible. And, you know, it was just sort of like, it was nice to see them, like, address that and not, like, kind of brush it under the carpet. Then the second episode, another, there was, the hell was it now? Now they're, like, people are saying, like, the Doctor has finally come out as, like, not straight. Oh, there was a really cute, like, throwaway bit where Donna and the Doctor were traveling in the second episode, and they, like, brushed through this moment in time and briefly looked out into it and met somebody. And then later they were talking about it, and it was a guy. And Donna was like, is it me or was that guy totally hot? The Doctor was like, yeah, totally hot. Oh, wait, is that the kind of person I am now? And she goes, it was never that far from the surface. So, I mean, as much as the Doctor has never been, like, romantically interested in humans, I mean, I think, you know, romantic attraction and, like, it just, finding somebody attractive are different things, so.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So that was cool. The second episode was extremely weird in a good way. Like, it just kept you guessing. There was a lot of, I don't know, just these really cool monsters that, like, kept you guessing and you weren't really sure what was going to happen and you really weren't sure how the Doctor and Donna were going to get out of it. And it ended with a really nice cameo. I mean, it's not really a spoiler because we knew, well, the information is out there that Bernard Cribbins made his last filmed appearance as Wilf. So that cameo was at the end of the episode, and it just made me so happy that my voice is going to go like this now. But it was really sweet, and I am very much looking forward to the third special, because I believe they're going to tie together all of the like questions that have been raised and not answered by these two about, you know, what he's doing back as with the same old face. And the villain for this third special is somebody from like way back in Classic Who, and is being played by Neil Patrick Harris.
Ooh.
So that's pretty exciting. So if you have been like, if you have fallen off the Who bandwagon, but you always loved 10, which is, I would say, a fair percentage of the Doctor Who fandom, and you haven't watched the specials yet, you probably should, and you will be a happy Whovian.
Yeah, I have to say that I was really, the first special was just like, it was so much fun, and it was really nice to remember what it was like for Doctor Who to be this kind of fun. Like, it just looked completely different. It looked more colorful. It looked more like a TV show, whereas I think the last couple of seasons of, I don't know about Moffat, but definitely the Chibnall era was a bit grayer, and a little bit of the Moffat stuff too. It was starting to try to look more like big blockbuster movies, and this was like, it just felt like such a throwback in the best possible way. Like, it didn't look bad or cheesy, but it didn't look like overly gray. Like, it was just so noticeably more colorful and shot so much more like, you know, the older episodes of Doctor Who. And it was written that way, in that it was just fun, lots of amusing dialogue, and the stakes weren't insane, which was, you know, that was my whole big thing with Moffating all over the place. We're just like, all right, well, we tried to end the universe, we stopped that. It's like, well, what if we ended all universes? Or what if we ended time itself? Or what if we ended reality itself? And like, it just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger until the stakes were so abstract. It was like, I don't even know how to react to this anymore. And it was, I don't know, it just felt like a wonderful return to form. It was, you know, a tiny bit rocky, but it had such good character to it and such a great personality. It didn't really matter that it was a little bit rocky. It was just damn good television. Great to have it back.
Donna and Tennant's chemistry is like back in perfect top of their game form.
Oh, yes. That makes me
so
happy.
Enjoyable to watch.
Lovely. It is just lovely.
So,
and they definitely got that Disney money.
So I have
production value is you know, leaps and bounds from where it came from.
I have two questions. Kris, one, during SAG you had made comment, because I think this was, you were talking about it pre the second special, and you were talking about the special appearance of whomever you said, like it was their final, and you said that was going to destroy you when you saw it. Did it actually destroy you?
She was talking about Wilf. No, it didn't actually destroy me. It was actually quite nice.
Okay.
The reason I thought it was going to destroy me was because the last time, it was the Tennant regeneration episode, man, and like, God, that was already brutal enough. Like, Wilf is such a great character, and it was like, okay, this is just nice. Now, are we sure that was the last we'll see of him?
Yes, I have read behind the scenes stuff. There was more planned for him, but he was not. He died a few weeks after it was shot. He wasn't up to filming anything else other than that. That they also have said, like, he's mentioned in the next special, and he's fine. The character is fine.
All right, I'll take it. Yeah, no, it was just real nice seeing him again. I thought it was going to be some sort of bigger emotional gut punch than it was, and instead it was just lovely. So thank you for that, Doctor Who. It's very kind of you.
Second question, Karen. I don't know. I'm assuming that you've heard, because if I've heard it, that means you have heard it, that they are talking about when the new season of Doctor Who starts on Disney, they're going to title it a season 1. How do you feel about that, and how is that supposed to affect the entirety of this? Because from my understanding, classic Doctor Who does not regenerate to 2005 Doctor Who. But
not on camera, but that's the way it works.
Okay.
They've all but done that at this point.
I honestly, like, the history of Doctor Who is such a shit show.
Okay.
That it really doesn't bother me that much if they want to say they're going to start over again with the numbering. It's like, whatever.
It's
They're
just
not-
like a Marvel Comics being
And
like,
that
and this
shit
is
pisses
Spider-Man
me
number
off.
1.
Yeah. They're not erasing any of the canon. They're not trying to, like, say anything that came before didn't happen. If they want to do that, like, I don't, whatever.
Okay.
I think that sounds like a Disney call. Like, Disney was like, no, we have this new thing. Oh, the other day, Ellie stayed home sick from school. And so I was on the couch with her and trying to help her find something to watch. And I went into Disney Plus, and I went into the Disney section of the Disney Plus app. And, like, one of the categories in that page was Disney Originals. And that's where Doctor Who was. And I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
Wow. That is
Yeah, it was kind of like
mighty pretentious.
they did the same thing with Star Wars. Remember when the Star Wars showed up? It's like it's listed as a Disney original. I'm like, no, it's not.
The hell it is.
I'm talking about like the old like animated Star Wars things. Like here's classic Disney Star Wars. Like the hell are you on about? Like I get that you own it, but you didn't do it. Like stop that. Stop
Yes,
that.
didn't you see the
BBC
ears throughout the
has
whole time?
A few things to say about that, Disney.
Vader has always had little Mickey ears the entire time.
Absurd, but fine, whatever.
All right.
I don't care.
I was just curious because, like,
It's just gonna make it confusing.
yeah.
I don't agree with it, but
So it was Paul McGann
yeah.
regenerated into the War Doctor, and then the War Doctor went into Eccleston.
Correct.
That's the right. Okay, just want to make sure I had that lineage correct.
And that was done at the end of Tenet, wasn't it? That's when that whole movie stuff took place?
I mean,
That was in that was Matt Smith territory because it was Matt Smith, Tennant, and War Doctor
Okay.
together.
yes, that's when that happened. But the War Doctor's time actually happened between the 1996
Oh, yeah,
Fox
no.
TV movie and 2005.
Gotcha. Yes, that was an
No.
extreme retconning at Matt Smith there. So okay, gotcha.
Speaking
timey-wimey.
of Disney Plus, though, I did want to throw out real quick some news that came out today that made me very happy. It's not TV related, but it makes me really happy. The 3 Pixar movies that went straight to Disney Plus are all getting theatrical runs early next year.
What are those movies?
Soul, Turning Red, and Luca.
Oh, I didn't realize
And I
they
think
never
we should
had.
go see all 3 of them because they're all great movies.
Wow,
I saw
Soul is one of our kids' favorite movies.
Luca.
it's a great one. We didn't see Luca, honey. That's
No?
the only one we haven't seen yet.
Interesting.
Yeah, which I found out about, and I was like, shit, I forgot to tell you. Because
I like the other two quite a bit actually.
Yeah.
Soul was great.
Soul was great. I got a real kick out of Turning Red, and I think Luca is delightful. It's not as like, I guess like it's not as. I can't think of the word for it. I don't want to say it's not as good as the other ones, but it's not as like overwhelmingly good as the other ones. But it's got such a great. It's a relatively simple movie, but it does the Pixar heartstrings thing I think really well, and the characters are great. I think it's a really fun movie.
Yeah, I mean, Turning Red. Both of those were heavy movies for animated fare because
Well, that's Pixar.
I was going to say, yeah, that's what Pixar does.
Yeah, they're not heavy for Pixar standards. But
No,
they
no.
are heavy for
Disney standards. How's that?
But they all definitely deserved a theatrical run, and it sucked that they didn't get them. and I'm glad that they're finally getting them. I know at least the first two were largely related to COVID, them being pumped onto Disney Plus, but there was also like a big part of that was like, well, we're going to put these original movies here instead of theaters to get people to subscribe to Disney Plus, which I think is now up to like $13.99 a month. Mm-hmm. Like, man, if we didn't use it all the time, I would cancel the heck out of it. But we use it a lot.
Makes it hard. Yeah, and you've got
it
kids.
Does like. I know we have nefarious means, but like nefarious means aren't like, well, this isn't available the instant it's available, and a lot of times that comes up, and and also the Plex server is not that intuitive for the kids to surf through and utilize on their tablet or anything. Disney Plus is, so it's like, ugh. But man, oh man, I keep thinking more and more about like, wouldn't it be great if we could cancel Netflix or like just cancel one of them, but like. Ellie uses both of them a lot, so they just keep raising the prices.
Well, that's how they're a struggling business, and they need to make ends meet. So
they really do. They just they can't. This is an expensive
how hard
proposition.
It is, Chris. You really don't.
You take away the obscene salaries of the executives in charge, and like there's
but
really not that much money to go around.
Chris? Come on now.
Oh my God. Okay, you guys done, grandpas?
Back in my day,
tell me about some
cable
television.
We had to walk up to the TV to turn the dial. Remote controls. Wore an onion on her belt, which was the style at the time.
That sounds rough.
All right, what have you been watching, Chris?
Yeah, that's
Well, I mean, I've been watching a bunch of stuff, and I really wanted to talk about Loki because Loki season 2 was fucking phenomenal.
Yeah,
and just really the last Loki season 2, and then the Marvels. I was like, oh shit, this is like some A tier Marvel shit happening right now, and then like nobody went to go see the Marvels, and that made me sad. Because that's a bummer that movie was kind of is kind of a box office bomb, because I thought it was one of the best Marvel movies they've made in years. I had such a good time seeing it, but the Marvel stuff was kind of sort of overshadowed by us. So we were Loki ended, and we were like, all right, we got to start catching up on some of these other shows. So we watched the first episode of Wheel of Time, and we're like, yeah, I have no idea what the hell's going on. I don't remember who any of these people are, what their relationships are to one another, and I'm sure this is good, but we're just not in the headspace for this. We want something a little bit more grounded, and so Karen mentioned that she had wanted to watch the morning show, and I was interested in that one too, because I thought it seemed like a pretty interesting concept. And holy crap, that show is amazing.
Really?
It is, oh my god, it's intense, it is intelligent, it just goes in wacky directions. We just finished season 1. We're a couple episodes into season 2, which I feel like hasn't quite found its footing yet. Well, no, that's wrong. It knows where it's going. I don't know where it's going yet.
Okay.
But season 1, so basically this is a show about, what the hell was that guy's name?
Matt Lauer.
Matt Lauer. This is basically the alternate TV edition of the whole Matt Lauer scandal. He was America's Dad on the Today Show, and then he turned out to be like a terrible sexual predator. So this is basically a dramatization of that like similar situation. Like that's the basic premise. The Matt Lauer character is
Steve Carell.
What's the character's name?
Oh, Mitch Kessler.
Mitch Kessler, played hauntingly by Steve Carell. Like,
really?
Holy crap. Oh my god, he's amazing in this. Like, disgusting. Like, amazingly disgusting. It's horrifying. And Jennifer Aniston is like the co-host, and then they bring in Reese Witherspoon's character to like replace Mitch Kessler on the morning show, and there's all these like internal politics about who deserves what and how many people knew about all the crazy shit that Mitch was doing, and the network defining different ways to cover it up and spin it and turn it into a good thing. And oh my god, like it's ridiculous. Like there are some crazy disturbing scenes towards the end of the first season with, or even in the middle of the first season, I think, with like Steve Carell's character, just the way he explains himself, like the Me Too movement's out to get him and everything's overblown, and how he really believes in his heart of hearts that he didn't do anything truly wrong. And like there's this weird conversation with him and this character that Martin Short plays, who's like even worse than him. And then like he draws this weird line, and you start to see this realization in him, like, maybe I am the bad guy. No, it's the rest of the world that's wrong. But like, it's so disturbing watching him be this character, and as the season goes on, learning more and more about the horrible shit he did. But like, as awesome as he is, like Jennifer Aniston is, here's a sentence I never really thought I'd say. Jennifer Aniston is outstanding. Not that I have anything against Jennifer Aniston. I've just never been like, I've never seen her in anything like really like three-dimensional. Like her character in this show is fucking fascinating, because she is a mess, but she's simultaneously incredibly endearing and incredibly devious. Like she's like a megalomaniac. Like she's so self-serving most of the time. And Reese Witherspoon's character is this kind of, I don't even know how to explain her. She's a kind of like an independent journalist that got sucked into this entire situation and got thrown into the role kind of on a surprise, almost on a lark, just to fuck over the network. And I honestly, I cannot say enough good about it. I don't want to say too much because, God, the show goes on these like insane twists and turns with the different like PAs, and the weatherman is played by that guy who always looks like he's wearing eyeliner.
His name is Nestor Carbonell.
Yeah, he was. You'd know him if you saw him. You'd be like, "Oh, it's that guy who's always wearing eyeliner." Yeah, but he's not. He's just the way he looks. And there's no facet of it that's not incredibly well done. And it's like, here I am complaining about wanting to cancel Disney Plus and Netflix, and meanwhile this and Ted Lasso came out of Apple, which we never paid for. I'm like, holy shit, Apple really came up with some good television, and now I feel kind of bad that we didn't give them any of our money, but we've given them enough of our money with various Apple products. But still.
I just looked up Nestor, and he's has a heavy Hispanic accent, but you are absolutely right. He always looks like he's wearing a lot of eyeshadow.
Yeah, it's wild. He's great. He's another interesting character. So like the first season ends with this just every single episode would end, and it's just like grabbing the end of the chair intense. Like, what's going to happen? What are they going to do? How are they? Wow, what's happening? And then, but the second season is taking place as COVID is happening, which is also like,
there's like one guy on the staff, and it's like, early January 2020. There's one guy in the staff going, "Do you think maybe we should do a story about this thing?" And everyone else is like, "It's not really good television. It's kind of boring. Shut up."
Yeah, it's happening overseas. It's not that big a deal. And like, that's what was happening. And it's wild because I'm pretty sure this season aired in 2021, or 2021 or 2022. So it was like, I think it was 2021. And it was pretty close afterwards. And I feel like that would have been really disturbing to watch that close. But even now, looking back on it, it's just like, you've got to be kidding me. Like the way this is playing out and the way that they're foreshadowing everything. And also like what's happening with the show itself, because like you feel like in season 1 that Mitch Kessler is like, well, he couldn't possibly, like what voice could he possibly have now? And then the way that they kind of bring him into things is like, oh no, he does have a voice, and it's fucking frightening, is really disturbing. And now we're in season 2. Yeah, season 2 aired in 2021.
Imagine when it was shot then. There's this like long drone shot in the first episode of season 2 where they're flying through the completely empty city, like no people anywhere.
Yeah, that was reality.
Yeah.
Episode 2 is called It's Like the Flu, and it's just like, Jesus, I remember this shit. Really, goodness gracious me. Like, this show's wild. And what's really interesting is that the thumbnail, the header image that you have on Plex has John Hamm, and like, we haven't met John Hamm yet. And I keep looking at the show like, when's he going to show up? And who's he going to be?
Okay.
Interesting. That sounds cool.
I don't choose those.
Jennifer Aniston's character's producer, is played by Mark Duplass. Is that how Duplass? I recognize him, but I don't know what I recognize him from. But he's like, I love him. I love him so much, and I want him to be okay. And like, season 2 starts with him being okay. It's like, okay, let's never see him again, ever. Write him off the show, happily ever after. And then, like, he makes this decision, and I'm like, no, don't you do it. Because it's only going to lead to bad things for him. It's only going to lead to bad things. And I keep thinking that John Hamm's going to replace him. Like, that's what's going to happen. And I'm like, I don't want that to happen. Unless it's for him to go and get married and live on a puppy farm somewhere. Like, just let the man be.
Go
let him
live
be happy.
on a puppy farm somewhere. Nice.
Chris is feeling away.
Yeah, this show's fantastic.
The thing
awesome.
about the show is that it feels very Sorkin-y.
I
But it's not
thought
a
it was.
Sorkin
It's not a
show.
Sorkin joint, right? It's not.
No, it's not. But
I
it
finally
feels
get that
very much
reference.
so.
Yay.
Oh, I just realized where I recognize this dude from. So like this guy who's like the executive, the young executive guy, he played Dr. Manhattan in Watchmen.
Oh,
Really?
shit.
Crudup.
Yes. He's delightful on this show. He is like, comes in with his own agenda, and he's sort of not on anybody's side. He's on his own side. And the side is like, I want to make this network and this show as good as it can be. And I kind of don't care who I fuck over to get there. And I really do like have the show's best interest at heart, which means I have certain people's best interests at heart, but it doesn't seem like it sometimes. He used to lie and like do all this stuff. He's just so much fun to watch. And then like every time somebody tries to like make him take things seriously, he's just like, no, fuck you.
Nope.
Yeah,
Not gonna.
he's great. What's it? Again, both Jennifer Aniston and Reese Witherspoon are fascinating to watch. In season 1, to kind of tie it back into Loki, which is funny that we watched this like back to back with Loki. I'm like 99% sure that's the same girl.
Yes.
Yeah. So this girl played, she played Renslayer in Loki.
Okay.
Yeah, she's in season 1 of this show and is also like astounding. Her character almost doesn't seem like it's gonna. Her character becomes more important as the season goes on, in wild and interesting ways. It's fascinating. She is. I don't want to spoil anything for anyone who hasn't watched it, but there are a couple of scenes where she does so much with just some very subtle facial expressions of just kind of telling what's going on through this character's head. And it's just like, please tell me that she got nominated for something. And it seems that she did. Let's see, what did she get nominated for? Show me her nominations. I don't know how to. I have no clue.
Her name is Gugu Mbatha-Raw.
Yeah, what she said. Let's see.
She's been on Doctor Who.
Has she now?
Yep.
Let's see. She was nominated. She was a winner of the British Independent Film Award for Best Actress. I don't see any nominees for more. 2020 winner, Artist of Distinction for The Morning Show at the Festival Honors Award. I feel like that's not good enough.
I mean, it sounds fancy AF.
Wow,
Yeah.
Chris.
She was nominated in 2020 for the Gold Derby TV Award for The Morning Show. Again, come on, what are we doing here?
Do better.
Yeah, no, she deserves lots of recognition. I was floored by her performance in season 1.
Oh.
And she was pretty freaking great in Loki too, but that's neither here nor there.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, the morning show, it's fantastic. You should watch it, but it can be a tad stressful, but in a really, really entertaining way.
She was something I was going to say. What the hell was I going to say?
Who she was in Doctor Who?
Tish. She was Martha's sister.
What?
Okay.
Holy shit! Now I see it. She
Yep.
was so young.
Yep.
Oh my
that's a
god, that's too
throwback.
funny.
Yeah. This show is good. I agree. Oh, I remember. We're trying to space out our shows a little bit because of the actor strike and the writer's strike. We know we're going to hit a point at some point. So we're giving more time to shows that came out in the past few years that we didn't have time for. And that's how we landed on this show.
Gotcha.
Wow, what a wild ride. All right,
Yep.
well,
Times.
speaking of wild rides, I'm going to, I guess, just power through this one. What I've been watching is Blue Eye Samurai. I cannot say enough good things about it. I'm going to just tell you all right now that if someone else doesn't make this their pick to watch in the future, I will be making it my next pick, even if it takes however many months that is, because this is probably now on the top 5 favorite things I've ever seen in my life. It's basically the story. It's set during the Edo period in Japan, so that's like the 17th century. So you're looking at a half-white, half-Japanese sword master named Mizu is seeking vengeance against those who have wronged their character and their mother. And it is targeting 4 white men, the last 4 white men who illegally remain in Japan during the time when they closed the borders. It was the Tokugawa shogunate who closed the borders and basically outlaw any white people. So it was like a very strong nationalist period, and it is a very, if you know anything about the series, this is not a surprise, but the main character is a woman, and she very much is disguised as a man in the first episode, and I went into it not knowing any of the context of the show, and Evan was like, when did you realize it? And I was like, immediately. I have watched way too much anime to not know the cross-dressing trope, okay?
I'm letting you know. I did not. I heard the voice. I was like, maybe they're just doing that voiceover thing. And by the end of the first episode, I went, God damn it. Now I can't watch any more of this because I'm going to have to watch it with you.
Yeah. And it was oh my God, they're so, all I want to do is talk about the show. I wish that this had been my pick now. And I'm still glad that we picked Good Omens, but had I known what I was going to get into with this, this show made me feel things. And it was so weird because the day that I watched it, I had been recovering from being sick. But that morning, I had, for whatever reason, I've been wanting to do a lot of studies in art, and I had just decided, you know what? I'm going to go online and I'm just going to start researching samurai, and I'm going to do some stuff and maybe do a samurai piece. And, I haven't done studies in a while. I had all this story going on in my head. And then I looked and I was like, oh yeah, Evan said I should watch this. So I just casually put it on, and I'm like, yeah, whatever. He hyped me up about it. Yeah, okay. 30 seconds in, I was like, oh fuck. It's so good. So it's an animation style, but it's a French-American base for the production, and the husband and wife are Michael Green and Amber Noizumi, and so they co-produced and animated this series with this company Blue Spirit. And when you look up Blue Spirit, you look at their animation stuff. I went on their Instagram, and this is not what they normally do if their Instagram is supposed to tell us anything. So the fact that this came out of that animation studio, it looks like most of the time they do children's cartoons. So
this was not that.
Yeah, this is very much an adult animation, not kid friendly at all. There's absolutely nudity, full frontal,
lots of boobies, and a penis or two.
Peaches. There is really interesting, like just for the representation piece, Ringo is a handless character who like idolizes Mizu and wants to be her apprentice, and ends up just being this really interesting and like fascinating character. But basically, like, it's a revenge story, but it's got a little bit of like Western stuff. When I read about it, like one of the things that they referenced was like Clint Eastwood references, like Westerns and stuff. And I 100% was getting that vibe. So like, but the thing is, like, those Westerns are like influenced by like old Japanese samurai. But I don't know. It just feels like this beautiful blend of Japanese storytelling and culture and production blended into this like other world and brought to us in the form of animation. And oh my God, the fight scenes, the choreography, the colors,
I watch a lot of animation, and and I'm not going to explain the point in the show, but there was a scene in this show that, you know, like when you watch TV and you see someone go, oh my God, like, I had that reaction to seeing an animated character do something that I did not expect, that took it to the next level. And I'm not used to that because it's usually just relatively repetitive. Like, we've seen it. Like, yes, there's a lot of Western influence, or, you know, like spaghetti Western influences in this. And samurai, it was like, I was riveted the entire time. And that's, you know, that speaks volumes, because a lot of shows, especially animation, are just retelling something that I've already seen and just, you know, animating it. I was upset that I got to watch it myself, the first episode, and not get to experience it with you at the same time. I waited, and then when you finished the first episode, and I came into the room, because you were watching it in the bedroom, like, so...
this is one that like I am gonna be revisiting, and for sure like singing its praises for a long time to come. It just brought in like a lot of the really cool action fight sequences that I love to see, but done in like really fun ways. There's moments that reminded me of like Kill Bill. There's a lot of like subversive like undermining like that patriarchal bullshit that you see. There's and especially too, like, because you have to remember like the oppressive culture at that time, specifically like you're looking at like women are property, right? Like that's all they're considered to be. And so to see her be like this absolute fucking badass, and like some of the scenes that you end up witnessing where like, oh my God, there's like a Naruto-esque moment where she fucking drops these weights that she always wears, and then she just kicks ass. Like there's these beautiful moments of character interaction and like solidarity and like the character growth over an 8-episode arc for literally every character on the show is absolutely insane to me. I can't believe that it was that well fleshed out and done in just such an elegant and perfect way. And then
not for nothing, but I still to this day wish Rock Lee had beat the shit out of Gaara.
Oh my God,
just
I
saying.
know. But I love the fact that you just understood that entire reference, because that's exactly what I thought of immediately. Rock Lee will now and forever be my favorite Naruto character. Fight me, I dare you. But yeah,
Rock Lee rules, man.
Yes,
God, I loved him.
He was so great. He's so underrated. But yeah, like I feel like I don't know if she is a fan of that or if it was like a nod to that or whatever, but like she 100% did that. And then just like one little thing.
Well, that's an anime trope in general, right? I mean, that thing's maybe, I don't think it's ever, I've never seen it done as well as when he took off those weights.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, Goku did that early on.
Yeah, but
in Dragon Ball Z, you know, but.
It felt like a nod. I don't know. Maybe it's because it's the most recent one that I had watched. Like, I know they did that, but it really, like, if you ever get the chance to watch it, like, I want your thoughts, because it really did feel like that was the nod, but I could just be projecting because I love him so much.
Well, you definitely piqued my interest.
And it's beautiful.
Do you remember when you were watching all of the Star Wars shorts and you were talking about like one of them was like in an anime style, but they were all animated shorts?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that based on the way you talked about that and the excitement I felt when you talked about that, it's like, to me, it's like that level of awesome and that level of energy is brought to every single episode with beautiful storytelling and archetypes and little nods. One thing that I wanted to point out that it's cool to like just watch it as you go through the series. But Evan, remember how she's wearing a scarf at the beginning? Mm-hmm. Did you notice that it's gone at the end?
Yeah.
Do you know why she was wearing it?
No.
So she doesn't have an Adam's apple.
Oh, that tracks.
And that's the level of detail that they paid attention to with this character. So like, there's just so much more. But I'm done. I'm not going to say anything else. Once we've actually gotten a chance for people to watch it and we can dive in, there is so much more I want to talk about. Like, I was literally reading about that historical period right before I watched it. So I was like, babe, do you know why this happened? Because blah, 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 blah. And he was like, please, for the love of God.
Just watch the show.
Just be sick. Just shut up. Like, oh my God. Like, I think Arcane was like really up there with like the excitement level that I felt after watching it. But I don't know why, but this literally like hit me in every way possible that it could have in the best ways. It just did.
The show is made specifically for you.
I swear to God, I want it. Yes. I swear to God. Yes. Yes. Somebody like reached inside my soul and was like,
it's as if someone created like a Doctor Who heavily, beautifully done animated show for Karen.
Yeah.
Or gave Kris, I don't know.
Like a Star Wars thing.
Star Wars thing.
Yeah.
Like that's.
This is what that will be for me. Yes.
There was a point, like we're watching it, and there was like an event in a town, and there was taiko drumming going on, and I just like casually look over and I'm like, you are loving every second of the show.
Yeah. So
there it is.
So many good things. I can't. And Sword Father. I love him. Okay. So yeah, that's my thing. If anybody who's listening has watched it, like, talk about it in Discord, bring it up, let me know. I'll actually check the Discord. Like, I just want someone to talk to me about it. So, yeah, I love it so much. But yeah, okay, now that I'm really excited, I gotta pee. Let's take a break.
That's my girl.
I got so excited that I'm too excited. And on that note, we'll be back.
Hi everyone, Kris here. Podcast listening is free, but podcast creation is not. That's why the Geekade Patreon exists. In an effort to help us pay the bills, we've got a Patreon page set up where you can gain access to our monthly podcast topic schedule, get early access to many of our shows, and more. If you'd like to help support Geekade and keep these shows running week after week, head over to the Geekade Patreon page, linked in the show notes of this very podcast.
We are Safe at Home, the leading dog rescue in the heart of New Jersey. Are you searching for a loyal companion, a dog that will bring love and joy to your home? Look no further than Safe at Home. At Safe at Home, we believe in giving every dog a second chance. We rescue, rehabilitate, and find loving forever homes for dogs in need, right here in the Garden State. Our dogs are ready to make a lasting impact on your life. Each one has a unique story, a wagging tail, and an incredible capacity for love. When you adopt from Safe at Home, you're not just gaining a pet, you're becoming a part of our family. Our dedicated team ensures a seamless adoption process, providing ongoing support and guidance. With New Jersey's beautiful parks, beaches, and trails, you and your new furry friend will have endless opportunities for adventures and cherished memories. Safe at Home relies on the support of compassionate individuals like you. Your donations and volunteer work enable us to continue saving lives and finding forever homes for these amazing dogs. Join us in creating a safer, happier community for dogs in New Jersey. Together we can make a difference and give every dog the chance to feel safe at home. Visit our website or call us now to learn about how you can be a part of the Safe at Home mission. Safe at Home, because every dog deserves to be loved and protected. www.safeathomerescue.org.
And we're back. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Nebula. Okay, no, I'm a little ahead of myself. So we're talking about Good Omens, Season 2, Episode 1, The Arrival. And quick plot synopsis, it starts with Crowley as an angel, which I didn't see coming, knowing he's a demon, knowing that they're all fallen angels, etc., etc. I don't know why, but I didn't picture it. And I was like, huh. So he creates a nebula. He's very disappointed because Aziraphale tells him that the creation is intended merely for the entertainment of the humans, and it will be destroyed in 6,000 years. And then in flash forward to modern times, so like that just comes and goes. I was like, why is this a throwaway scene, or is it? And then Gabriel has disappeared from heaven in present day, and both heaven and hell are looking for him. And he shows up at Aziraphale's bookshop with just a box.
With a box.
And there's a fly inside.
I believe the technical term is buck-ass nude.
Yes. And then, Aziraphale and Crowley naturally have to figure out how to hide him because heaven and hell are looking for Gabriel. And basically the threat is whoever is housing or hiding him gets nuked. And Crowley finds this out and goes, fuck, goes to protect Aziraphale because he's so cute. And then they decide to perform a miracle, but not a full miracle each, only half a miracle each to get to the power of a whole miracle.
I'm sorry, that scene where they're like, nothing. Okay, nobody noticed anything. And then they hard cut to the meh, 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 and the red lights flashing and everything.
Yeah. And then, of course, it sets off all the alarms and triggers the, globe map locatey beacon GPS in heaven and immediately points everybody to Aziraphale's bookshelf. So it's great. It's great. There's some other scenes in there about a record store / coffee shop romance.
I'm sorry. One of my opening lines was going to be, and I didn't because I didn't want to hurt Chris's feelings, but it was, if I owned a record shop, I'd be more worried about people breaking in and leaving more records behind. Because everything that one woman said to the other woman, you could see cut her like a knife.
That was rough. I felt so bad for her. So yeah, I will be honest. I did not feel excited about this season, even after hearing about it, because I just wasn't. I love Michael Sheen and I love David Tennant in these roles. I need to be very clear on that. And I think that the first season was absolutely phenomenal. And, I really enjoyed everything. However, I was not as excited to know that they were continuing this. And I think I had said this in the past to you, Karen, because of the fact that I was like, well, this was not intended to be more than one season. And I don't know that I trust them to actually, regardless of who's involved on the creative team, I just didn't know if I trusted it to actually be any good. And the second we went into this episode, I'm telling you, we didn't do anything to refresh. We didn't watch a recap. We didn't even look at the first episodes and read descriptions. We just jumped right into season 2 and I was immediately right back in. They did such a good job of hooking me, at least. I don't know how you felt, hun, but I really felt immediately drawn back in. I thought the dialogue was witty and sharp and fun. The scenes, every character has just great chemistry in every interaction. And I found it endearing, and I found it it was one of those I felt as though they were doing a pretty good job of reminding me of who some of these characters were without working too hard to remind me. So that was kind of cool. And then, if I'm not mistaken, was the coffee shop owner? Is that the girl who had Agnes Nutter's? Well, I can't remember her name. The one who lived in the cottage, Anathema, I think it was.
Yeah, that definitely is not the same person.
But no. Okay. So, are we supposed to know who that girl is?
No, she's a new character.
She's a new character. Okay, because the way that they introduced her, I felt like I was supposed to know who she was, and I was like, this seems wrong. I don't remember this. Okay, so that, now I'm much less confused. But yeah, we haven't gotten past the first episode. So,
really? Okay.
Yes.
Because I wasn't sure how far you were going to get, and I rewatched the whole season the other day when I was lying on the couch trying not to die.
Yeah, I watched this basically on the tail end of being sick, like just as I was starting to feel better. So naturally, as soon as I start to feel better, I'm back to working 1 million hours a day, and I just have not had the time to watch more. And I want to so badly. But I also was worried that if I went too far into the season, I wasn't going to be able to recall anything from the first episode, and that was like what I chose. So I didn't want to... Of course, I should have known that you would be able to rewatch that second season. Dang it. I'm so glad that you did.
I am too, because I had a slightly different take on it than I did when I watched it initially.
Okay, that was going to be my question.
Yeah. Just for anybody who doesn't know, Good Omens is my favorite book of all time. And I really loved season 1, but season 1 was the book in its entirety. Mm-hmm. And so season 2 is what was planned if they had decided to write a second book that they never did. So there is like the germs of the ideas are from the original writers from the time the book was written. So it's not exactly just pulled out of their asses to make more money.
Right. And I knew that there was source material, but it's like the fact that it was still I don't want to say unwritten, because like you said, they had nuggets, but it was the fact that to me, I just didn't trust, like, just because you had an idea, like, great, so did George Martin, and look how that turned out.
Yeah, it didn't properly exist.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, the first time I watched season 2, I liked it, but I had some issues with the human characters. I kind of felt like, I don't know, maybe I was just so attached to the source material, but I was like, I don't know who these new people are, and I don't care. Why are they here? This is wasting time.
Yeah.
Second time I watched it, they do feel more integral to the plot of season 2.
Okay.
And where they end up, they're sort of more like a plot device, because a lot of season 2 is about the relationship between Aziraphale and Crowley. Mm-hmm. And these two are kind of like a parallel for them, but like in a completely different situation. They're similar.
Oh, wow.
Character
I have
types.
a question.
Oh,
I don't care about spoilers on the season because I'm going to watch it anyway, but if you don't want to say anything, that's fine. Do these two, like, is there a romance going on here?
With the
Yes.
ladies, or with...
No, with Aziraphale and Crowley. Like,
Yes.
was that a thing that was strongly hinted at in the book?
It depends on your read of it, honestly.
Okay.
It's not overt. It's not in the text, but
Okay.
it can be read that way in the subtext. So here's the thing. Half the internet ships
Oh, boy.
ships these two so hard and will brook no argument, and the other half of the internet is like, but they weren't gay in the book.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
but they weren't not gay in the book either. They were just like, it wasn't about their relationship, really.
Right. But I've seen this one artist that I am friends with. I have seen so much fan art come out of her, and all of it is them as this really fucking adorable couple. And I was like, so I just kind of like wondered if there was something that I missed as far as like subtext and undertones, or if it's something that's going to end up coming out in this season. And I don't need to know more at this point because I just feel like this is literally the longest romance in the universe, you know?
Yeah, in season 1 in the show, I think it's there if you look for it. Like they put little things into the show that don't feel out of place,
Right.
but that weren't overtly in the book. But this season is much, much more about their relationship.
Okay.
And it's, the other thing about it is it is a much smaller story than, like it's, well, at least for most of season 2, it feels like a much smaller story because season 1 was about the end of the world. And then now season 2 is like, where's this angel and what's going on with these 2 chicks? And like, it's just a smaller thing, but it's nice that way. And it ends up tying back to, you know, the consequences of, you know, what happened in season 1 by the end of it.
That's cool. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a ride, girlfriend.
I'm here
It's
for
a
it.
whole ass ride. And yes, the internet refers to them, or at least the half that ships them refers to them as the ineffable husbands.
Oh my God, stop it.
It's adorable.
That's so cute. Ooh, okay. Yeah,
Anyway.
I don't know. I my concern was like maybe I was projecting after watching Our Flag Means Death because I was like,
Yes, everything's gay now.
I know a little bit. I was just like, am I like thirsty for more? Like, what is happening right now? Like, do I just want like my favorite male characters that are leads to just have romances now? Like, what's happening? I don't know. But it was so good, and then I'm seeing this fan art, and I'm like, this must be like swaying me. And then I was like, but what if it's there?
I've seen a lot of fan art, like cartoon style fan art,
Yes.
where you get these 2
Uh-huh.
and then Steed and Blackbeard,
Yes.
and Loki and
Oh,
Owen Wilson's
Yes.
character. And it's like it's like Loki, Blackbeard, and Crowley belong together in one panel.
Yep.
And Aziraphale and Steed and Owen Wilson belong in the other panel.
I am
And
fucking
it's
here
like
for it.
same
Mobius.
energy.
Yeah.
Mobius, that's right. Thank you.
Mobius, thank you. Yeah. I was like, why am I not remembering this? Yeah. I ship that. Yeah. Ugh, I love it. So, okay, anyway, yeah, Kris and Evan, what were your thoughts? Because Karen and I think we could talk about this forever, and I want to give you guys some
Correct.
space. Yeah.
I was entertained by it. I really liked in the first season that it was they didn't really hammer me over the head with like, no, they're gay. I kind of liked that wasn't the focal point of the story because
No, nor should it be.
yeah. I didn't necessarily ship them. I didn't really. I wasn't as interested in that aspect of their characters, so that kind of irked me a little bit. But really, the only thing that properly irked me about this season was that the 2 women there, I did not sense even the slightest bit of chemistry between the 2 of them. Like I didn't even. I didn't buy it. I didn't buy those 2 at all, and that kind of just irked me a bit. But everything else I thought was fantastic. I thought it was a really interesting story about I'm not going to necessarily spoil what's going on, but like everything that happened with Gabriel, like why he was there and how he got there. I thought that was a really cool story. And it's David Tennant's just a joy to watch, although his hair is distracting in this season.
My God, it's like 10 feet high.
It's taller in this season, right?
Yes.
Because I don't remember it being quite so ridiculous in season 1, but I haven't
It
rewatched
looks
the
like
show
an anime
ever. But
cartoon. Like
his
so
his
high.
hair is like, there's certain scenes where you're just like, wow, that is meticulous. But there's a lot of good times with the car and the radio, and it's just magnificent television. I wish I had. I guess I just wish those 2 women were cast differently. I don't know. I didn't buy them at all, and that really kind of took me out of it more than I wished it would. But other than that,
Well, not to
thumbs up.
spoil the ending, but having rewatched the whole season again, because I did feel the same as you first time we watched it. But by the end of the season, it kind of makes sense that they don't have any chemistry.
Okay. Am I crazy or is Crowley's hair redder this season too?
I couldn't tell you.
Okay.
It does seem very red.
Okay.
But I don't know that I
Pointy.
can speak to the degree of redness.
Okay.
For me, I want to give everybody, David Tennant and Michael Sheen, they did a phenomenal job. I want to comment on John Hamm's
Holy
comedic
shit. Oh my God,
timing.
he's so funny.
He is so goddamn funny. And a little bit of a shout out for Shax. Is that the female
Yeah.
demon, that kept sneaking up on David? And
Yeah.
their interactions were fun to watch because it was like she didn't know what she was doing, but she knew what she was doing, and like Crowley should be doing that job. Kind of feel like all of those that though. Gabriel is not a secondary character, but those secondary interactions that were not Aziraphale and Crowley, like they were a lot of fun, and I am enjoying that. Even the heaven scenes where like that box of matches is there, and she's just like she's an angel. She's poking at a box like it's going to explode or something. It was funny. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
The depth of the story I can't speak to yet because it's just we've only seen the one episode, but I mean everybody seems to be in doing a great job. I thought the non-chemistry between those two ladies in the coffee and record shop, I thought that was purposeful. I don't know. I guess when we see the rest of the season, I'll give a better response to that one. But yeah, I don't want them to get together. But yeah, I enjoy the show quite a bit, and there wasn't 1,000 other things available, whether it be other television or just other parts of life. We would have finished it, but that's
We haven't had a time in a long time to sit down and like binge or sit and watch things like all the way through. I actually tried to start a new TV show to talk about tonight because I wanted to save Blue Eye Samurai, and then I didn't even get to finish the first episode. So it was just one of those, like, the only stuff I've really been putting on in the background television-wise has been stuff that I've already seen because I can, mostly ignore it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's unfortunate because this is television like this is the kind of television that I love to watch because it's first of all, the cast is so endearing. Second of all, I love the way that the production is done. And like I said, like you're talking about Shax, right? Like the conversation they have on the bench, especially when she's like, is it always this easy? And he's like, yes, humans love misery. Like they're so good at making their own misery. Like that whole, and then the conversation when he's like yelling about frozen peas for ducks. I was like, Evan, we have to get frozen peas.
There's
like,
turtles. We try to figure out that we go on a walk and there's a lot of turtles and we don't want to feed it the wrong thing. But now we know. Frozen peas.
Just so great. But it just like, it brought me right back to the whole like, his role in like book one or season one. Sorry.
It felt seamless.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it didn't. Like you said, I did not need the recap because it's almost as if it was starting fresh.
Well, I think it gives a lot of context, but I think for me it wasn't so much that like. I do still want to go back and like watch a season one recap, but my point was more so that like, like for Doctor Who, like I'm not as warmed up to it anymore. I don't get as excited to jump back in. Even when I did go back in and watch episodes with you recently, it was like, oh, this is cool. Like I forgot how much I like this show, and like. I don't know. It was kind of like a nostalgia thing. For this, it was like settling in. It's like wrapping yourself up in your favorite blanket and being like, yes, this just feels right. Like, it just brings me right back in, and I really enjoy that journey and that experience, and I'm not wary about it anymore at all. Like, there's no hesitance or reluctance to go back and watch more. I'm excited for what comes next. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to watching more. I wish I had time to watch the whole season, or even more than just the one episode. But when I realized I wasn't going to be able to get much further than maybe the second episode, I didn't want to like taint my memory of this first one. So.
Yeah, unfortunately, our time is more spent watching something that we could fast forward through most of it so that we can finish our meal and go do whatever else we have, and help I wrecked my house, and Fixer the Fabulous does that really well.
Yeah, I literally watch like 10 minutes of television at a time right now. It's and I've talked about doing that before, because I'll do it like while I'm having a meal and a break time or whatever, and then usually at some point I'll delegate more time to just hang out and watch TV. Nope. The only time I watched television recently was while I was sick, and I happened to make the priority there Blue Eye Samurai, and that was completely accidental.
And not for nothing, I'm going to give a shout out to this. I was very proud of you. We did spend 4.5 hours sitting down quietly watching a full miniseries in one night. I don't know what brought it on, but we watched like the 1998 Stephen King's The Shining miniseries, and it was great.
Yeah, actually, that's a fair point. I probably could have spent that time watching Good Omens.
Something else, but we wanted to watch The Shining.
Well, and I'll tell you, the reason that came up is because Spotify gave me that freaking audiobook option.
Oh, that's right.
And I started diving into Stephen... Well, no, actually, you started this because you were watching a Stephen King documentary. Mm-hmm. And it was about him and all of his writing, and I didn't realize... And the movies, and I didn't realize how much Stephen King has written that I didn't know about, or how many films have been made about Stephen King's books, or because of Stephen King's books. The scope and breadth and reach that man has, and the amount of work he has produced is
like 11% of all movies are written by Stephen King at some point in time.
So that made me really curious and intrigued. And then they talked about how the Kubrick version of The Shining is like kind of butchering the original story, and then I was like, well, I'm listening to the Tommyknockers, and so it just kind of got me on this like whole thing, and I was like, well, let me just check it out. And the next thing I knew, I was like, I'm in. I don't know. I wanted to know where the story went, and I wanted it to be a beginning and an ending. So I think that was probably why it just felt less intimidating to watch it, because I was like, it's only 4 episodes.
You didn't have to pay attention to it. That's the thing. Like we'll sit down, and we both wanted to watch Good Omens. We wanted to sit there, but like I don't want to separate myself and watch it separately from you. Like we got to find the time to sit down together.
Yeah.
It's time is not as whimy as Doctor Who would like you to believe. So.
How do you guys make time for watching television? Do you tend to watch a lot of stuff separately, or do you guys get to watch things together?
We get the chance to watch like maybe an hour and a half together after the kids go to bed. Most nights, not all nights, because he'll have a podcast or I'll go out or something. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's about the size of our watching together. If there is something that is like, week to week, dropping week to week that we're really into, we both work from home at least some of the same days, and then so like we will sometimes on a lunch hour be like, okay, let's sit down and see the new Loki or whatever. But usually it's just that hour and a half after the kids go to bed before we collapse. And then for the most part it's separate stuff.
So you guys like, and that's the weird, I don't want to say it's weird. That's the one thing that we have a problem with, or at least I do. You and I, Ange, have similar tastes. Like, we like to watch the same thing. So I'll get you things like Mayfair Witches that I have no interest in whatsoever. Like, so you can have something to watch so I can find something else to watch, and that it never sticks. I'll turn on something like Blue Eyed Samurai and go, fuck, I gotta sit down with like, I can't watch this without you, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, but we'll get through it eventually. We've got a lot of things that we need to catch up. Well, start Echoes. Did you know there was a whole new season of Orphan Black?
Yeah.
I did know that, and we never finished the last one, so I just kind of ignored it.
Really? You didn't finish Orphan Black, huh? That's surprising.
And there was a huge gap between
Yes,
the second to last season and us attempting to watch the last season, and we started to watch the last season, we watched the first episode, and we're like, what?
Yep.
What? And then we just say, you know what, we're going to have to do a rewatch of this show at some point, and then watch the last season, and then that never happened.
Mm.
Invincible's got a bunch of episodes that I haven't watched.
Yeah.
Yeah. We watched the first one, maybe two of that, and I'm still super interested in catching up on it, but I'm okay with waiting until we blast through the rest of the morning show.
Yeah. I'm going to be honest with you
anywhere.
guys. I'm glad that you mentioned something about Loki, too, because it was not grabbing me the same way the first season did. Like, I was kind of like, okay, whatever, by the end of it. I remember initially being like, oh, I thought Loki was one of the better things to come out of Marvel in a long time. And the first episode did nothing for me in the second season. And I think we've watched 2 or 3, and it's still like, I don't know why. It's just not holding me. So.
No, I fucking loved it. I mean,
Yeah.
I can't remember if it kicked off quite as hard, and there is definitely less of Sylvie than I would have liked. But I thought it was great, especially like by the end of it, I was like, damn, this was really good. I guess maybe the first couple episodes were a little like, okay, we'll see where this is going. But yeah, I think by the end of it, I was like, yep, give me more, pile it on.
Yeah. I'm waiting for. I'm
It's
waiting
a short
for the
season, right? It's like six episodes, something short. It's a Marvel show, so we made it halfway
Yeah,
through.
it's not a ton of it, but yeah, good times were had. Lots of spaghetti.
Especially once you get Ki-hee Kwan's character in there. He's so fun.
yes, I gotta.
Yeah, Ouroboros. Yeah,
Yeah,
good times.
I love seeing that guy every once in a while. It's like a surprise. Oh, mine, it's Roundhouse. Right, Roundhouse.
Short round.
Short round.
Roundhouse.
Hey, Round was in there. All right, it's not that far off.
Listen, our brains are broken. Okay.
It is now 11 o'clock at night. Some of us are tired.
I don't know what you're talking about. We don't have children. We're fine. After having
You
our
have
nephew here
as
for like,
much right to be tired as parents do.
oh, I appreciate that. Just after having our nephew here for a few days, we realized what tired actually feels like, and I was like,
Yeah, that is a fair point.
I'm just looking at 11 o'clock. I still got at least another hour of this, but you're not Dan.
No, nope. I'm not gonna lie.
You're not Dan, and it's not Friday.
Every Friday night at about 11:30, I'll peek my head into this office to see the little sound bars that jump. Going, fuck, those guys just don't shut up, man.
We really don't. We're just incapable of running out of things to say.
oh God. Hey, you know what? Sometimes that's a good problem to have. But okay. Speaking of things to say, Kris, would you like to give us a social media to-do, if you will?
Oh, sure. This week's episode is not filmed before a live studio audience, but it is fueled by feedback from listeners like you. And you can get in touch with us in a multitude of ways. We have an official Geekade Discord where there's an entire This Week's Episode channel dedicated to all things TV talk, and of course the regular Geekade social media accounts linked to in the show notes. The 4 of us can be found in various ways. I should update this because I'm not really on Twitter anymore. It's just a cesspool of
X.
Yeah, it's a
Breaking
wretched
up
hive
with
of
Twitter.
scum and villainy, and I've just about moved on from it. But you can read my work at StoneAgeGamer.com and in the pages of Nintendo Force magazine. Karen, where can people find you?
I'm at STM Stitches on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Etsy.
What about you, Angie?
Go to my website. You can find all my socials through there. It's AngelaFernot.com.
And Evan, what about you and the internet? How do you get along?
TalesOfCapeFear.com. We're always doing something new there, so check that out.
Spiffy. If you need to know more about the shows we discussed tonight or what we'll be watching in the future, have a look at our show notes. And if you have any other questions at all, we can always be reached at mail@geekade.com. Just include the words "this week's episode" in the subject line so we know who you're trying to reach. This show is available anywhere fine podcasts are sold, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and more. And wherever you decide to listen, please like, comment, subscribe, and leave reviews because any and all feedback is welcome and appreciated. Again, as always, keep your eyes on geekade.com for more fresh, original content. Back to you, Angie.
Thank you. All right. He made it through. You did it. I'm proud of you. Evan, you're picking next. So what do you got?
All right. So I have made comment often about the Corridor Crew and their special effects and VFX stuff, and they turned me on to this show that apparently has the best special effects on television.
Yes.
I want to watch it's just called Foundation. We're going to watch season 1, episode 1. I get a lot of like Dune vibes from it, but I have no other information. Foundation.
Just Foundation?
Just Foundation. It is an Apple Plus.
Season 1, episode 1.
Season 1, episode 1. I wrote it down. The Emperor's Peace is the name of the episode.
Another Apple show, eh? All right.
Yeah. Looks really, really good. So we'll see.
You look really, really good.
I do.
He does. He's got great calves.
Those are straight up cows at this point.
Hey-o. I'm not that old.
Oh my goodness.
Who's been calling your calves shapely? My mom. That's a deep cut, you guys.
Some sports night action right there.
Wow.
I'm so uncomfortable. What have I done?
Wrap it up, hon.
All right, so we're moving on. Everybody, thank you so much. Now you've got your homework. Go do it. Watch the show. Don't forget to check out Discord, and I think that's it, right? We're good, guys?
Yep.
Yeah, all right, cool.
Sure.
So from all of us here at this week's episode, I'm Angie.
I'm Evan.
I'm Jim.
I am dusting.
Good night.
And this concludes our broadcast day.